Hello everyone, Tim here and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be sharing the wonderful paintings that came out of my recent November workshop where we painted this beautiful scene in Burano near Venice. More on that in a minute. So once a month I select a challenging subject for watercolor. It could be a landscape, street scene or a seascape, and over a couple of hours or so I do a step-by-step demo and painting of the scene. I'm surely going to go into a bit more depth my review of the paintings from the workshop. I'll talk about what I really like in each one and maybe suggest a few little tweaks here and there just to see if that will help you. Remember, these paintings were done by people at all different levels of watercolor. Some folks are just starting out and others have been painting for years and years. And that's the beauty of these workshops, is to see how we approach things in a slightly different way. Now, before we start and go through the attendees' paintings, just bear in mind that they might look slightly different in terms of color and lighting and definition. That's down to, of course, the different cameras that we're all using and the lighting conditions when the photos were taken. So just bear that in mind. If you fancy joining in one of the workshops, you'll find all the details at crowdcast.io/@TimWilmot. And we've got some great sessions coming up. Everyone's welcome, whatever level of watercolor. Okay, let's just walk through the scene first of all. As I say, this is Burano and a little bit of a combination of a street scene and some water there in the foreground. A canal kind of terminates here. It just turns around to the left, just slips under this bridge over here. You can just kind of make out there on the left. It's going to be an exercise in perspective, first of all, trying to get that angle right down there and the street level there on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, the buildings sort of curve around a little bit, but we've still got that perspective and the street level there as well. There's going to be also an exercise in injecting lots of figures into this busy street scene. We can see all of those figures there coming and going down this street full of flanked by cafes and shops and so on. So figures, we have to contend with figures, getting in different figures, bit of movement with those figures as well. There's the drawing of and painting of the campanile here. Now this actually does lean. It's one of the famous landmarks of this little island. And I think it's actually leaning the other way. So this is going to be vertical, but trying to get the symmetry of that campanile there correct in your drawing and painting. We've got, of course, the colors of Burano. That was one of the focuses, another one of the focuses of the workshop, trying to portray all of these colors. Look at them all, the yellows, the reds, the blues on the right-hand side, lavenders, browns as well. The architecture of the place. The windows aren't really as ornate as, say, Venice, nearby Venice. But nonetheless, they're equally tricky trying to get all of those windows right. Again, a little bit of perspective, the border around those windows, trying to get the architecture right. We've got lots of contrast of light and shadow, shade. We are almost contre-jour. The light is coming from, you can see with the angle of the shadows of the figures, the light is sort of up there in that top left corner. And we're almost contre-jour. So we have lots of silhouetted shapes. We've got lots of contrasts of lights and dark. We've got a little bit of light hitting the tiling on the left-hand rooftops there. Yeah, so trying to get right the range of contrast. We've got shadow color, trying to get in the I zoom in there, that kind of looked to me, that kind of looks like a cool shadow, this car's shadow going across the street. And finally, we've got the element of water and those reflections, the reflections of the buildings left and right, the reflections of the campanile there, very gentle reflections. We've got that boat on the right-hand side. Now, in my painting, I decided to simplify the boat, but the boat's got this sort of hooped, curved tarpaulin covering. So a little bit of a tricky boat there. Funny, difficult angle to do that boat, and a little bit of reflections from that as well. First of all, then, my painting from the demo, fairly happy with it. I think from a composition point of view, there'd be an argument for raising the horizon a little bit, so less sky, and there'd be more opportunity to have the water and reflections in there. So, but then I'd need to be careful with the top of the campanile and the left-hand rooftops being quite high, sort of going a little bit too close to the top of the paper, but it could have gone up, I don't know, a centimetre or so. Composition turned out all right. The colours of the buildings, I think I've got that okay. The sort of ochres and the warm colours, that bluish building on the right-hand side, the details of the windows as well, just keeping it, as you can see with the style, as you may know, fairly loose in the style. With the cool shadows below the shop blinds, I might have gone, I'm not sure if I went a bit too light with the shade, with the shadow, and maybe just a little bit too cool. Could have gone a bit darker, maybe also a little bit warmer down the walls, but still keeping it cool. So warm down the walls and then a little bit cool coming out. But I quite like the pattern of those shadows with the light coming from that top left corner. So they're going to be horizontal there, and then they're going to sort of fan out, you know, with the perspective. What else? So the campanile is fairly vertical, almost symmetrical. It's all right. And yeah, the reflections there and the water, light in the distance coming a little bit darker towards us, then simple reflections. I quite like those reflections over there. Soft transition from the shadow to the water's edge. And the colour of the reflections sort of contaminated with the colour of the building, and just implying the roof, the bridge there on that left hand side. Figures, yeah, good group of figures. Maybe I could have had some figures in here. That would have been a good place for another figure in there. Yeah. Oh, and also my little antique lantern just coming out into the street there. Now for the attendees' paintings, we'll start off with Allah. And what I'm looking for as I go through, a number of things. First of all, composition, then the inevitable perspective, this being a street scene, the colours of the buildings, did we get a good match for that? The values as well, lights and darks, the colour of the shadows. Figures, how good are we with the figures? Bit of movement, have they got the right scale, proportions? Then the water and reflections as well. And then possibly any creative element, just to make it a little bit more, put their own kind of stamp on things. So Allah, first of all, nice composition. I think you've actually raised the horizon up, as I mentioned in mine. So I think that's just perfectly placed there in the composition. Good perspective, I think. Yeah, very good perspective. Good colours of the shadows. Well, maybe could have gone a little bit darker with the shadows. With the figures, you've painted around the figures to keep like a light edge to them, which, whilst that might work with some of the figures, I think the lighter edges over here are a little bit too wide, make them a little bit narrow, just so there's a little bit of a glimmer on their head and their left-hand shoulder. But over here, yeah, these here, for example, because your figures are dark against a slightly lighter background, I would have gone over where you were placing the figures, go over with your wash, all right, and put those dark figures on top. Super water reflections, really good reflections, nice brush marks there. And that boat is fantastic with the stripy tarpaulin cover at the back there. Very good boat. Yeah, well, and the campanelli as well. Yeah, well done. Maybe a little bit of unfortunate blob at the top there, but all good. Yeah, lovely painting. Well done. And Andrew. Good composition. Very nice colours. I think maybe your photo is a little bit dark. I bet your painting is a bit brighter than this, or a lot brighter than this. The perspective is all right. Possibly could have gone down a little bit steeper on the left and then a tiny bit steeper on the right, just a little bit. And then we've got the angle right there and there. We could have gone a bit, as regards values, we could have gone a bit lighter in the open area there, just so that we've got the contrast between the darks and the lights. Figure-wise, they might be, yeah, they're all right. We need to maybe have them, because we are on a level with those figures, we need to make sure the tops of the figures are all in line. Kind of there, just below where the blinds are. So that would be the tops of all the figures. So these here on the right are a little bit low. They need to be starting up there, all right. And the railings here on the right-hand side, they need to be sort of like fairly horizontal because they're just below that eye level. What else? What else? We've got the bridge in, the boat. Yeah, well done. I like the sort of murky colour of the water, very atmospheric, and the reflections as well. Campanelli good, nice and symmetrical. Yeah, well done, Andrew. It was super colours. Thank you. And Anthony. Right, nice composition. We've got a nice sort of open area of the street. Composition-wise, looks good. Perspective. Right, perspective on the left-hand side. I think you got the angle right. I'm not sure if we've got a little bit of a, it might be the angle of your photo, but looks like we're leaning in a little bit that sort of way. So try and keep those verticals, I think, fairly parallel and sort of, you know, lining up to the left-hand side there. With the placement of the figures, we've got a lot of figures going around the outside. Maybe there could have been a few more in here, Anthony, just to fill in that space. And again, try and keep, with perspective, try and keep the tops of the figures in line there. But really good, the figures that you've got in there are fantastic, just the right scale. We've got a bit of sense of movement. Always difficult to do a figure walking side to side in a street scene like this. Easier with figures walking away or coming towards us, but that one there, just right, little hat at a slant. Shadows, good shadows. Maybe could have been gone a bit darker. Water is brilliant, lovely sort of turquoise colour to those reflections as well. A nice boat there, looking in the bottom right-hand corner. And the colours, really, really nice colours, especially on that right-hand side. That blue is fantastic. Campanelli, all good. Yeah, well done, Anthony. Thank you. And Barb. Nice composition. Yeah, your horizon is just right. I think you've got, with the horizon being just above that centre line, I think that's just well placed. And you've got more opportunity then for the water. That water is superb with the sort of darker, softer light waves there. These darker, soft waves, and then the reflections, both the colour and the brush marks you've got in there. Just suggesting a little bit of gentle movement, really good. The perspective is excellent. Yeah, really good perspective. Nice colour of the body. Maybe could have gone a little bit more saturated with the colours, a little bit darker with the colours. Campanelli good, and the figures have come out really well. Yeah, you've filled in the space quite nicely there. Good shadow colour as well. The sense the impression of lots of figures in those side cafes left and right. Yep, super painting. Well done, Bob. And Barry. What's a nice bold watercolor. I like the way you've mounted it as well. Always paintings always look nice when they're mounted, don't they? We've got a clean border around the sides. Good composition. Perspective is good. I like the kind of your style of those windows. Very bold. The lighter frames around the lighter border around them, really good. Figures, they are excellent. Yep. Should have mentioned perspective is good. We've got a little bit of a crooked campanile, but it is crooked. It does lean a bit. So yeah, that's in character with the scene. And you've moved things up a little bit, so we kind of got less of the sky, which I think is all right. We don't have that kind of the rooftop showing there on the left hand side. Doesn't need it, but we've got just the right sky, and the top of the campanile there just falling short of the top of the page. That perfectly placed, Barry. Nice water. Maybe the reflection is a tiny bit too dark. They could be a little bit lighter, possibly, but I'm not sure if it's your photo. And nice attention to detail with the these little sort of borders to the steps here. Could do a little bit of reflection in there with that left hand side of the steps. Yeah, and nice boat as well. With the perspective of the boat, just try and, so if that's the left hand edge, maybe the right hand edge would come out just a little bit more, just a tiny bit, but really good boat. Thanks so much, Barry. Chris. Oh, very nice. I'm immediately struck with the reflections and the atmospheric soft elements, soft edges to it, particularly, where did my eyes go first? Kind of over here. Everything is going on here. That kind of, the way you've done the bridge there, the arch of the bridge, that little softness, that little light soft patch, the smooth transition from the side of the canal down into the water there, but that whatever green that is, or turquoise, that's beautiful. Very nice indeed. Lovely composition. Maybe that rooftop there might be a little bit too red, possibly up there could be a little bit sort of browner, terracotta-like, but it's okay. Nice perspective is very good. You've got that little apex there of a rooftop, breaks that line there. Campanile, brilliant. Nice softer values in the distance, pushes the distant building, I think it's part of the church, pushes that way back. Really good figures, kept them nice and loose, very expressive, movement as well. Some figures are light, some are dark. Beautiful watercolor, and that boat, to top it all, the boat is just right. Yeah, I think you might have made it just a little bit bigger than in the source photo, but that works. That's a really nice boat, and it lays just nicely in the water. But that green there of that turquoise or cobalt turquoise or whatever it is, just hits the right spot. That does. Yeah, fantastic. Well done, Chris. And Christelle. Nice composition. You've got sort of more of a bias on the right-hand side. So nice composition. We've just about got the spire there of the campanile just within the frame. Perfect. Good colours of the buildings. Now, I think with the perspective, these blinds here may need to be a little bit flatter. So a little bit like that. And yes, so maybe a little bit flatter. That might make them just a little bit better. And the base of the building, you're going down a little bit here. I think that needs to be a little bit more horizontal, just a tiny bit. Crystal. Left-hand side, though, perfect. That angle there, going down to the bottom of the street. Figures are very good. Just be careful. Some of the heads might be just a little bit too big. Ease off on the white paint as well. Don't need to use the white paint in there. But yep, nice arrangement of figures. Good boat. Well done with the boat. It's pointing up a little bit, but it's good. Nicely placed and very good reflections. I like the granulation. That granulation there, superb green. That's a lovely, that reflection there of the Campanile, the shape of it, excellent. You've got a good feeling for the movement of the water, little gentle movement of the water. Yep, great colours. Well done, Crystal. And Christy. Nice composition. Those figures are very good indeed. The buildings are superbly drawn. Great perspective is excellent in this. You've got the detail of all the blinds and the kind of all these geometric shapes and some parasols there covering the cafe goers. Good arrangement of figures, some large, some small. The perspective there is very good as well. Maybe with the shadows, I think, just a suggestion, like this figure here, I think the shadows, say shadows of the figures in the middle of the street might be a little bit more horizontal, but this figure here maybe could do with being that angle. This one that's slightly darker maybe coming out a little bit like that. Do you see what I mean? Just a minute adjustment to those. That boat there on the right hand side, really good. And the way that you've got a nice soft edge to it on that right hand side, but the covering to the boat, the colour of the boat, excellent. Beautiful reflections as well. Just the right colours of the buildings. Maybe could have gone a little bit darker, possibly on this left-hand side, just a tiny bit. Yeah, nice Campanile. I wouldn't bother with so much detail. I mean, you're very good at building. You see the detail in that Campanile, but to push it back, maybe just a little less detail on that. Lovely sky as well. Well done, Christy. And Christine. Very loose. Nice composition, great colours. You've defined the architecture really well. Perspective is good. Maybe could be on the right hand side, we could be going up just a little bit more, but on the whole perspective, very good. Good arrangement of figures in there. Maybe we could add a little bit more light in here. Be careful with some of the shadows of figures being a little bit too large, like this figure here. Maybe the shadow could be just a little bit narrower and going off. You got the angle right, you got the value right, but just a little bit narrower. And this one here, if that's a figure there, again, maybe a little bit narrower for that figure. But very loose figures, good shadow color. Let's look at the reflection. Ooh, very nice reflections. With that reflection there of the Campanile, I would have, your end value is right, but it looks like you might have had a couple of attempts at the reflections. I would try shadows and reflections, try and do them all in one rather than a lighter layer. Then you think, oh, it's too light, must go in darker. And sometimes it just shows up, and it's not as, in my opinion, it's not as fresh as trying to do it right once, but you've ended up with the right value and the right colour. Lovely boat, nice loose boat. Yeah, beautiful loose style. Got the colours. Yeah, nice one. Thanks, Christine. Not sure we've got two Davids. Have we got two Davids? Yeah, David C and David J. Right, David C, first of all. Nice composition. Maybe we could move the horizon up just a little bit. I like the style of this, the style of the colours. You haven't gone for that the kind of big range of values, deep saturated colours, but you've defined the scene really well. Perspective is really good. The figures, maybe we could have just a few more figures. It looks a little bit open. So maybe the suggestion of the cafes left and right, you know, tables, chairs, that sort of thing, seated figures could do that. But really nice range of figures. You've got movement as well coming towards us. Good boat as well. Nice water and reflections. We haven't got that kind of light area there, but doesn't matter. I like the style of it. I like the colours. It's kind of, we've got a lot of sort of middle values here. No bright lights apart from maybe the blinds, but no darks. Yeah, maybe go a little bit darker, David, with the values in some areas. For example, on that left-hand side or on the right-hand side underneath the blinds there in the shop fronts. Thanks, David. David C. And David J. Let's zoom into this one. Very loose. I know that's David's style. Very loose watercolor. Beautiful. Exploiting what watercolor does. Mixture of hard and soft edges. Nice composition. Perspective is very good. But yeah, let's look at all this loose brushwork. Beautiful colors of the buildings. Perhaps we could have defined or made more of a suggestion of sort of tables and bits and pieces underneath those blinds, just a little bit more left and right, like in that area there, and possibly on the right hand side. Looks a little bit open here, but you've got the sort of suggestion of something going with this softness and the marks that you put in there. The water and reflections, brilliant. I like these sort of lighter splodges of red there, soft edge around them, bit of atmosphere. Yep, a very loose, bold, bright watercolor. Thanks, David. So the two Davids. Fazia. Right, loads of people. I'm not even going to count all those people. Yeah, obviously a very busy day in Burano, which it, I guess, often is with people visiting there for the day or staying there. Yeah, nice group of people. So nice composition. I like the style of the buildings. Maybe a little bit... I prefer the style of the buildings on the right-hand side to those on the left. I think if there was just a little bit more definition to the architecture, maybe the windows being a little bit darker, possibly, or, you know, these kind of lines, these lighter lines that you've got in the building, the light underneath the rooftop, halfway down. Maybe the suggestion of a few more blinds there. But apart from that, all good. Good perspective as well. Could go up just a little bit more on the right-hand side, up that top right-hand corner. But a fantastic array of colours. The yellow there, I particularly like that. The brightness in the middle, that yellow there. The shadows of the figures, very loose, done once, nice and fresh. But I think you get the prize for the most colours so far, the most colours, and all of those figures as well. Nice reflections in the water. We've got the suggestion of the bridge as well, and that boat on the right-hand side. Yep, thanks, Fazia. And Fritz. Nice composition. Colour-wise, we've gone a little bit more sort of muted, a little bit sort of on the slightly greyer side. Good perspective. I think the buildings on the right-hand side could be a little bit taller. Perspective on the left, good. That angle there. But maybe the ones on the right could go up a little bit. This to me looks more like a sort of winter scene. This would be a very good sort of Burano in the winter, December, January, February, with the sky that you've got and the greyer colours. Very good from that point of view. Good figures. They are fantastic figures. Especially these here. That one. You've got the perspective right, the scale. Good sort of a random array of figures. Maybe there's one waiting to be done in there, in that one, in that space. the movement, suggestion of movement as well, like that one, for example, walking towards us. Some of these on the right, maybe with their heads, they need to be a little bit taller with that perspective. I think these here, they're all brilliant, but these on the right, they need to be a little bit taller, higher, to keep the perspective right. Reflections in the water. That water, fantastic, brilliant boat. You got the trademark vertical post, these sort of mooring posts that you see down the sides of the canals. You spotted those in the scene as well. Nice element to include in any kind of scene around that area to keep to give it the character of Venice. And likewise on the left hand side, that bridge as well. Get a little bit of lightness on the top, but that water is superb. Let's just zoom into there. Yeah, water superb, and the reflections as well. The Campanile. Yep, well done, Fritz. Right, before we see the rest of the paintings, just a little mention about my workshop site. Go to crowdcast.io/@TimWilmot, and you can see there you can take part in all the previous events and get a little critique from me, and also the up-and-coming future events as well. Be happy to see you up there. We cover a wide range of subjects and topics: seascapes, landscapes, street scenes, and so on. Lots of varied scenes to paint, and also get included in the group critiques. Next up, Jean, and let me just zoom into this one. Lovely composition. Perspective is very good. I like the bold straight lines, particularly on the left-hand side there of the architecture. I think that's very appropriate for a street scene like this. So yeah, very bold, confident line. Perspective is good. Beautiful colors as well. Figures, let's zoom into these figures. I think, like I've pointed out one or two times before, I don't think we need the light around these darker figures, and try and keep the shadows. The other thing, yeah, is try and keep the shadows connected with the figures. But on the whole, good figure work, good arrangement of figures, large, small, randomly spaced. That bridge on the left-hand side, I don't know whether we could just continue that one, just drag these lines across just to keep that going there, just over the edge of the paper. Nice windows, nice bold windows. Campanile is perfect. Reflections very loose. Yeah, lovely reflections. Maybe with the reflections further away near the side of the canal, possibly there might be a little bit less light showing in there, just a bit more solid covering, and maybe a bit too heavy with that warmish color there. I think if you'd have kept it with that greenish color there, that would have been perfect. Yeah, so the reflections further away, less light showing through. Beautiful boat on that right-hand side. That's a fantastic boat. And nice sort of bold, straight lines for the railings as well. Yeah, that's very effective, that kind of straight line there, and the verticals. Yeah. Definitely benefits from all those straight lines. And also looks like that's a lovely straight line as well, the top of the canal wall there, the steps, and there. Yep, thanks very much, Jean. Oh, we've got the Burano sign in there. Thanks very much, Jean. Right, Joe. Oh, this is different. It's almost like we've gone back a century or two here. Same scene, of course. I can see from a sort of creative point of view, change a few things. We haven't got that kind of cafe scene going on, or those extensive shop blinds, but we recognise the scene. We've got the colourful buildings left and right. So excellent, lovely sky. The colour of the buildings, perfect, really nice. I think we could do with some stronger shadows coming out from those buildings. I still think we could benefit maybe from some railings here. Reflections are good, but just again, be careful not to go in with multiple layers on the reflections. Maybe those steps could be just a little bit wider, the steps there, the kind of upper part of those steps could be a little bit wider, a little bit taller. The figures are fantastic. Yeah, very appropriate with the baskets and bags and things they're carrying. That's a lovely figure there as well. Great boat on that right-hand side. Yeah, super painting, lovely colours, but instantly recognised was Burano in a previous time. Thanks very much, Joe. Right, John. Very colourful. Nice arrangement of figures. We've got figures down here on the steps. Brilliant. Seated figures, just as you would do. Visitors there trying to find somewhere to sit, eat their snacks or whatever. Yep, really appropriate. Nice arrangement of figures, beautiful colours. That rose or whatever there, that red there, the yellow, the blues, the oranges, reds on the left-hand side. Perspective is, let's look at the perspective, is very good. Left and right. Maybe those railings there could be a little bit stronger, look a little bit sort of almost invisible. The railings on the left, much better. Nice bridge there on the left. Reflections. The reflections are very colourful. I would say, could you go a little bit darker with some of them? Or maybe suggest a little bit more movement in the water, possibly. But I do like, we've got an immediate impact of the colours here. Have we got the light coming from a different direction? I think we have. You've got, it's almost like the light's coming from the right-hand side, which I've just noticed. So we've got the light there on that building and the shadow here. So maybe this is later in the day. That's what it is. Nice attention to detail with the lights there and the brackets coming out from the walls. Yeah, beautiful scene. Well done, John. And Kazim. Nice composition. Really good perspective. Excellent perspective. Beautiful colours in those buildings. Nice straight. That campanile is perfect. Really symmetrical. Lovely straight lines. So that's perfectly drawn. As are the rest of the buildings. Yeah, you've gone with that, with a shadow underneath the blinds. You followed me on. You followed me closely with that blue underneath the blinds. I just think when I look at it now, upon reflection, I think it's just a little bit too cool. Maybe needs to be a bit darker, a bit warmer in those shadows. On the right, these shadows on the right, they're much better. Really good. Perhaps in the cafes there could be a little bit of impression or suggestion of horizontal tabletops, just a little bit in a few little places, you know, between figures, just pick up on a few of them here and there. Nice railings, perfect reflection. That water's beautiful, light in the distance, darker in the foreground. Really nice reflections going on there. In that bottom left-hand corner, lovely colours in those reflections as well. Yeah, gorgeous colour of the buildings. Well done, Kazim and Leslie. Nice composition. Perspective is good. Certainly okay on the left-hand side there. On the right-hand side, I think we need to have the tops of the buildings just going up a little bit, Leslie, I reckon, just a tiny bit. So the building's a little bit lower in the distance. They're going to be a similar height, sort of a similar height to the buildings on the left, on the opposite side. So, you know, if that's the height of the buildings there, then maybe a little bit lower. Nice arrangement of figures, great figures. Yeah, perfectly in proportion. Just be careful with some of the heads possibly being a little bit too large. The shadows in the open air, brilliant. Again, you follow my line on the cool blue shading underneath the blinds. I think value-wise, that's just right there. That blue, that's better than mine. That's a lot better. Nice reflections in the water. I would go a little bit more solid with the reflections near the canal wall. As I mentioned with Jean's, just go a little bit more solid with those reflections. So lose the lighter space between those reflections, I think would look better. Lovely boat, bottom right hand corner. Superb campanile. Nice and symmetrical. Yep, well done. Thanks, Leslie. And Lillian. Oh, lovely. My eyes immediately went down this bottom left-hand corner. Very atmospheric, what's going on down there. Lots of soft edges. I know this is Lillian style. And that softness there on the right-hand side of the campanile, bit of softness there above the chimney. Excuse me. So nice. Anyway, nice composition. Perspective is very good. Possibly could go up a little bit more on the buildings, top of the building on the right. Nice arrangement of those shot blinds going across. The figures are very good. Yeah, try and get the tops of figures all in line, which we're nearly there. But good movement on the figures. I particularly like this one. That is an excellent figure there with the diagonal, with these sort of diagonal shadows going across that figure and the legs that suggest the movement. Brilliant figures. Good shadows as well. The angle of the shadows, the colour, the value. Right, reflections. They are very nice indeed. I particularly like what's going on the left-hand side. The kind of soft shape of the bridge and the reflection of the arch of the bridge. And then that darker reflection there on that left-hand side. Yeah, and sort of soft edges to that as well. Good boat. Maybe the walls of the boat, the side of the boat, might be a little bit too high, but very nice boat down there in the bottom right corner. Could we have maybe a little bit of yellow going on there? There's all these reds and a little bit of blue, possibly a bit of yellow. Got a bit of orange there, but yeah, maybe a wider range of colours, possibly a yellow might have helped. Beautiful painting. Well done, Lillian and Louise. Nice composition. Lovely colours. I love the colours. With the perspective, I think we're pretty much there, although the buildings on the right look as if they're a little bit higher. I think it's the base of the buildings on the right. So that's the base of the buildings on the left, roughly. So on the right-hand side, they need to be a little bit lower, need to come down a little bit lower. Otherwise, we've got the feeling of the street going uphill a little bit. Nice figures, very good arrangement of figures. You haven't gone with the sort of all lots of dark figures like I went with. You've got a nice assortment of figures, different coloured clothing. Possibly, just an idea, have a little bit of highlight on some of the tops of their heads, particularly those out there in the middle, catching the light. Lovely shadows from the figures as well. The reflections are fantastic. Very nice reflections. Nice and fresh. The colours you use, the value, just the right kind of ratio. I can tell the ratio of pigment to water. You've got it just perfect. Very nice reflections. Well done, Louise. And Mark. Nice composition. Perspective is very good. Certainly on the left-hand side is good, Mark. Right-hand side, possibly those buildings could come up. So quite a few of us have maybe need to go a little bit steep on the right-hand side. Like the idea of the birds. I guess they'd be seabirds or pigeons in the sky filling in that space. Nice campanile as well. And it's got a little bit of a lean on it, which would be very appropriate. We've got lovely figures, lovely colourful figures in the scene. Maybe we could just make a few of them stand out a tiny bit more, like, for example, this figure here could have a bit of a highlight on their head and their shoulders. And this one here, just in a few places, just a little bit of white paint with a smaller brush. With the reflections in the water, it's all quite dark. I think it would look better, Mark, if we'd had a bit more light in this space here. So dark here, dark reflections there. On the whole, dark reflections there. Well, we've got the reflection of the Campanile, but this middle area here, keep that white. Yeah, beautiful. What a Mark and Mary. Right, nice composition. We've just about got everything in. The perspective is very good. With your brush, I think you've got a very, does your brush, is it very sort of rounded, doesn't have like a very sharp point? I think if you had a sharper point, you'd be able to define some of these objects a little bit better. It's as good as it is, but it's a little bit better with sharper edges, like that window. That window's there good, but some of the other objects, windows, they've got surrounding corners, so a more pointy brush would help. With the railings, we just need a top of the railing that looks a little bit untidy, but just try and get in a nice straight top edge to it. Lovely light there in the middle of the street. The reflections are brilliant. Lovely water, that bright blue of the sky, reflection of the sky, and the brush marks of the reflections as well. Yeah, lovely colours there of the buildings. That blue, that's a perfect blue. That blue there perfectly matches the blue of that building. And likewise on the left-hand side, lovely warm colours there. What a Mary and Mike. Nice composition. Good. The perspective is very good. The buildings left and right, the blinds as well, the placement of the figures, excellent. Campanile is very nice indeed. Maybe the top of the Campanile just nudging slightly over to the right, but it looks good. Let's go back to the figures. The figures are all right. Perhaps we could have a few more. Maybe some of these figures have some arms on them, possibly, little longer arms here. Well, these two are in love, so they got their arms around each other, but maybe arms left and right, something like that. You got on those two. Maybe these needed a few more arms. Shadow-wise, shadows are good. I like the colours in them. Now you've got a nice warm colour underneath there, a nice blue. Maybe could you go a little bit darker, possibly a little bit darker. Lovely railings, reflections, very nice reflections, particularly on that left-hand side. Suggestion of movement, and on the right-hand side as well. Well done with the boat. Yeah, well done, Mike, thank you. Oh, lovely shadow underneath there, the right-hand side. That's just the right value on that right-hand side. And Minzu, right, nice composition. I like the softness as well that you've achieved. Good perspective. Yeah, perspective is really good. I think the perspective is very good. I was just thinking, is the angle going up a little bit too much on the left-hand side? No, it's good. Maybe the blinds, we could have some lighter blinds there on that left-hand side. You've defined them with those darker marks, but just try and maybe leave out just a few angular light slithers of light hitting the blinds there would be good. Figures are, nice arrangement of figures, but just be careful with the heads being a little bit too big and the legs being a little bit too thick. So have them a little bit more slender. Can I pick out some good figures in here? Maybe these on the left-hand side. These are those figures there, brilliant. That one there, good. That one there, good with a Western style hat. Yeah, but these on the right-hand side, a little bit too, a bit too chunky. And try and create the impression of bits and pieces underneath the blinds, shop windows, shop doors, and the furniture as well, cafes and tables. Very nice water, beautiful water, lovely reflections as well, nice green. That's a lovely boat on the right-hand side. Maybe we need a little bit more detail over here underneath the shop, underneath those shop blinds, those doors and a few windows and, as I say, tables and chairs would sort of make it a little bit more interesting. But beautiful colours, well done. Well done, Minzu. Right, let's go on to the next one. Right, Nick. Right, so Nick's photo, slight angle, doesn't matter, we can see what's going on. So nice composition, good balance of everything, very nice colours. You've got a lot of darks in this, a lot of impact with those reflections in the water. I like them. A touch of, looks like a bit of lavender or something going on there in the shadows, equally very effective. Nice brush marks here, bit of dry brush there, suggesting the texture of the wall, a little bit of lightness down the water's edge. Dry brush mark again for the boat. Yeah, nice use of the dry brush mark, possibly a bit of dry brush in that top rooftop there, or you might have used a little bit of white gouache just to bring a bit of sparkle to that rooftop. Really nice colours, perspective as I can see it, yeah, really good. Possibly underneath the blinds here, like a few other people, maybe to suggest a little bit more going on there with tables, chairs, possibly something like that. Very good figure work. These two here, and as you would do, so a lot of figures with lighter tops in the summer and then darker trousers, shorts or whatever. Yeah, lovely painting. Well done, Nick. And Pat. Oh, this is nice. A nice style. I like it. I like the repetition of the stripes. So here, for example, that one, and then the back of the boat covering the motor or whatever. Yeah, nice repetition of that. Good composition. I like the sky. Yeah, beautiful sky. There's a lot going on there. I think you've spent a lot of time getting that sky right, possibly a bit of splattering. Can't see exactly, but that's a lovely effect on the sky. Good perspective. The rooftop on the left here, I think, yeah, it looks a little bit odd, the actual roof itself. Almost looks like a curved roof. But I do like the way that you've created the effect of the light on the tiles there, Pat. Really well done with that. Nice figures, really good figures. Let's zoom into these. Nice arrangement of figures. Just be careful with the legs and possibly feet being a little bit too large in some of them. But a good arrangement of figures. I like the light on the railings as well. The steps are good. Beautiful reflections. I like this squiggly light line here. That's the reflection of the, I guess, the edge, the top edge, the gunnels of that boat, but that squiggly little line there. Yeah, nice attention to detail. I like the style. Let me just zoom in a bit. Yeah, nice attention to detail. Lovely Campanelli. I do like that sky though. Yeah, well done, Pat. And Richard. Oh, this is a vertical format. I think it's possibly the only one of the group that's gone vertical. And a line and wash, very appropriate, sort of more urban sketching style, but beautifully done, nice and loose. So I guess we've done the ink drawing first, then we've gone in with a light wash. I do like your figures. Right, perspective-wise, brilliant, left and right. I like the bit of splattering in here as well, Richard. Really nice indeed. Those figures, nicely portrayed. I like the style of them as well, the way you've done the legs, the railings, sort of all one squiggly line. With the reflections, could you have gone a little bit darker with the reflections and kept that light there in the middle? Possibly. But I like the style. The colours are fantastic as well, especially that yellow on the right-hand side. Yeah, I like it. Well done, Richard, and yeah, well done for going, taking initiative and going vertical on that one. Robbie, nice composition, a nice, bold, bright watercolour, very colourful. We haven't got some of the blues in there. We've got lots of warm colours, but we've got we've certainly got most of the colours in there. Nice perspective. Perspective is very good. The figures are excellent as well. Let's just zoom into those. Figures are excellent. The impression of bits and pieces going on underneath the shop blinds, right and left. Let's take a look at the reflection. The reflections are good. I would say with those reflections, could the reflections on the left be, the actual edge of those reflections be sort of there, so we wouldn't have that light space there. So I'd have coloured in that area there with that reflection. Again, lose some of these lighter marks as well. But nice reflections. Yes, you've certainly captured the style of the area so well. Nice attention to detail. Lovely campanile. And that boat there in the bottom right corner, really good. Well done, Robbie. Thank you. Next is Robert. Nice attention to detail. I like the way that you've defined. Suddenly my eyes went to all of these stripy things going on there, which you spotted in the photo. I think they're umbrellas that have been put down, but those stripes there. And the way you've defined the edge of the rooftops on that right-hand side, the way that you define the tiles there, those bright tiles, the light hitting those tiles. Very nice indeed. Nice attention to detail, Robert. Lovely composition. Perspective is very good. You kept the campanile kept dark like that. That's very effective. Yes, that's a good idea too. And it stands out more, doesn't it, against that lighter sky. Lovely campanile. With the reflections, I think the reflections on the right look a little bit better than those on the left. They look a little bit too fiddly on the left in a way. Maybe just slightly overworked, possibly. Yeah, reflections on the right, a little bit better, but love that green. And also the soft transition from the canal wall into the dark, murky reflections. Great figures, lovely figures. Just be careful with some of the heads being a little bit too large, like that one there, for example, and these two here. But on the whole, figures are excellent. That one there, brilliant. That one. That also a nice touch with a bit of opaque white paint or something like that. Gives a bit of mystery to the face there, the figures, and what's happening underneath the shop blinds as well. Yeah, lots of attention to detail. Oh, like the railings up there on the balconies, but the stripes of the stripes of umbrellas. Yeah, just right. Perfect colours as well. Well done, Robert. Sandra. Nice composition. Perspective is very good. Lovely colours. The campanile, I'm not sure if it looks a little bit too large for the scene. No, it's all right. It's okay. The campanile is good. Nice colour of the buildings. Figures are good. We've got a little bit of open area here. I'd be tempted to sneak in a few more figures in this open area here. Just make all these that you've got there, Sandra, maybe make them a little bit larger, bring them further forwards to us. Shadows are good. Perhaps could have gone a little bit darker here. Nice railings as well. Reflections are excellent. Really good reflections. Soft edges to those reflections, keep it nice and atmospheric. A little bit of wet in wet there, which always helps. Very nice reflections and lovely boat as well. And you've got in those vertical mooring posts. Well done. Yep, beautiful colours. Well done, Sandra. And Saro. Nice composition. Perspective is very good. You've gone quite light with this, Sarah. Maybe we could have gone possibly just a little bit darker or a little bit stronger with the colours, possibly, just to get slightly more of an impact. Figures are brilliant. Really good figures, those two there, for example. If they're distant figures, maybe they could be a little bit lower, this group of figures there, and possibly bring them down a little bit. But really good figures, well done. Reflections are fantastic. Again, could go a little bit darker, particularly over towards the canal wall. Perhaps we could be a little bit darker there. And a soft transition from the dark of the wall to the reflections coming out. Nice reflections though, got a bit of sense of movement in the water. Yeah, it's got a nice style about it. It's light. You capture the essence, but yeah, I think just going a little bit dark in a few places might just give it a bit more impact. Well done, Sarah. Beautiful painting. And Sylvia, very bold. A little bit dark, but it's all right. You've got all lovely colours, nice composition. I think there's a little bit of a lean to your photo, but we can see what's going on here. Perspective is very good. The colours are very bright, lovely colours. You've got them all in there, the ochres, the browns, the golds, the reds, the blues. Yeah, very nice indeed. Shot blinds, excellent. Figures, yeah, we can see the figures going on there, nice loose figures. I think ease off a little bit on some of the white paint, like, for example, that line there. And also with the use of white paint, just trying to add a little bit or a little bit less water to pigment ratio. Otherwise, it goes that sort of milky grey colour. The reflections are very good. I would say don't bother with... Oh, there is a little bit of... Yeah, there is a little bit of sort of lightness in the reflections there, which is sort of reflecting maybe the top of the wall there or the railings. Yeah, the reflections are good. Nice bit of movement. I like the reflection shapes there. They're very effective. Well done, Sylvia, a nice boat there as well, but beautiful colours and nice, good job on the campanile. And Tom. Great composition. I love that sky. Very atmospheric sky with the cloud there, a little bit of blue in the middle, blue on the right. Yep, lovely. Good perspective as well, left and right. Nice colours also. I think from a perspective point of view, it looks like we're a little bit lower in the scene, but that doesn't matter. It's far better that than the viewer sort of looking down on the scene. So that's come out really well. Perhaps the railings could be a little bit higher, possibly just a little bit higher. Values of the shadows, brilliant. Reflections, excellent, lovely. Nice sort of loose, fresh reflection at just the right value, just the right colour as well. Try and keep them also, you've got a bit of a curve going on there. Try and have them like that. The reflection there, the slanting in a particular way. So generally try and have them a little bit horizontal. Then yeah, we could sort of curve down a little bit and go in a zigzag fashion out towards the end. With this key figure here right in the middle, just be careful. I've made the mistake myself on many occasions, having a large figure in the sort of in the middle of the composition. I think it would look better if they were a little bit more to one side or accompanied by a few more people close by, just to sort of not make them stand out so much. But they are very good figures. Excellent figures in this. Nice and loose, good shadows. Well done, Tom. I do like that sky though. Vicente. Nice composition. Perspective is very good. Not so sure, Vicente, about these diagonals here. Don't think we need them. The blinds on the right hand side, they come out really well. The soft edge to them, the angle of those blinds, brilliant. The colours of the buildings, excellent. Yeah, I just think we need less of these lines here. Just be careful of just a little bit too much of the white paint. Nice reflections, colour reflections as well. You've got quite a lot of steps there, but it's all right. Possibly then we might need the reflections would come down a little bit more with your steps. I think the steps would have finished there, but you've added on a few more. So I want to drag these reflections down left and right just a little bit more, and possibly a few more reflections there of the steps. Boat on the right hand side, good, but it's a little bit too light. We want some darks in there just to define that boat a little bit more, particularly on the right hand side, some darker shadows. Yeah, lovely, Vicente. Love the colours. Very nice. Love that pinky glow there, that rose on that right hand side. Thank you, Vicente and Wojciech. Lovely bold watercolour. Yeah, I do like the style of this. It's very fresh. I like the effect of the colour mixing going on there. The distant building. The way we've got these transparent layers as well. The figures, the way you've done your figures, connecting everything, connecting the figures to the shadows. Brilliant. That figure there, for example. Maybe the heads are just a little bit too large, and the arms look like maybe they're working out a little bit. But yeah, lovely figures. So perspective-wise, very nice indeed. We've got the angle coming up there on the right, going up there. Simple campanile, just a silhouette, kept it nice and simple. No detail of the architecture. That's all it needs. Nice connection with the buildings below as well. Super. And reflections are fantastic also. Yes, it's a nice, clean, bold watercolor. Maybe do we need something on that right-hand side there? Just something going on. Maybe those poles, possibly. Introduce those in there to connect the shadows. Connect the shadows with the water. There were a couple of vertical mooring poles over there. A lovely watercolor. Well done, Wojciech. Right, so that's the last painting. Thanks very much, all of you that took part. Lovely painting. You all did really well, particularly with the reflections. Good job on the perspective. It was a tricky scene. We don't do anything particularly simple on our workshops, do we? But hopefully I'll catch up with you on an up-and-coming workshop. Look out for that one in December. And we'll look forward to lots of interesting workshops next year as well. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you picked up a few tips there from everyone's paintings, and catch up with you soon on the next critique workshop video. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye.